You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
You wanted it. You got it. A radio program that helps teach you options trading inside and out, basic to complex. This is Options Boot Camp. Whether you want to learn how to protect your portfolio, generate income, or even become a master of volatility, your Options Boot Camp drill instructors, Mark Longo and Dan Passarelli, will break it all down for you. Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC. Fall in boot. It's time to get into peak options trading shape. It's time for Options Boot Camp.
All right, everybody, that music means it is Wednesday. Time to rock out with some more education because it's time for Options Boot Camp. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com. Remind you at the top of the show, make sure you're listening to the full network. Otherwise, you're missing out on a whole bunch of cool stuff. And if you don't want to miss out on awesome things like our Pro Q&A yesterday, man, we went deep into all aspects of the world of options. You want to check that out. You want to get your name in the hat. I see you in there, Nickel. You're angling to win. That's not how it works. You gotta play the game. Dan has to pick the winner, so we'll get there in a second. But no cheating ahead of time in the chat. If you want to win can't win the December one now. That's already in the bag, or let's just say the November one. But the December one is still up for grabs. Get your name in the hat. Theoptionsinsider.com/pro. Rumor has it we also have in the month of December the forthcoming Volatility Deathmatch 2.0. The Flowmaster taking on Scott Nations in a vol battle to the death. There can be only one. If you want to get at it, if you want to participate, you want to be the judge, you want to submit topics, all kinds of fun. Theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go. The last one, I'm just going to say it was a banger. You want to be there for part 2, as well as all the other cool stuff, oddities, wild stuff, pro Q&As, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. And speaking of the pro, I see all you folks angling to win. That's not how it works. I love that you're in the live having a good time, but you can't strong arm the picker. He's beyond that. He's not in Chi-Town. He's not subject to bribery. He's out in the hinterlands known as Frankfurt, where we are joined once again by our good buddy, my options compatriot in crime, Daniel Machiavelli Passarelli III, Esquire. Mr. P, welcome back to the show, sir.
Hey, good to be back, Mark. Good to be back. Did I already tell the story on the show about how I wanted my son's name to be Niccolo after Machiavelli?
And then you're gonna go middle name Machiavelli. Just go full. Just go Niccolo Machiavelli Passarelli. He'll have 47 vowels in his name. The kids would have loved him in kindergarten. They're like, Niccolo, what?
Yeah, my wife was not going for that. Kathleen put the kibosh on it.
Then he would have grown up to be a bastard like Cesare Borgia. And then you go down a dark path, sir. I haven't reread The Prince in a while. I need to go back down. That's a good one. It's a good old. You haven't read The Prince, listeners. That's good stuff. And speaking of the Prince, seems like some of our chat has figured that out, Mr. Dan, because they're angling early and often to be the winner. They are trying to influence you, but they should know at least, you are beyond such base concerns. They say 1 Bitcoin. I mean, they're throwing a lot of things at you, Dan. I don't know. You're a stalwart fellow to say no to that. But I have fired up, I should say. I'm not fired up. I may have made up the 1 Bitcoin. That would be a nice one. But I digress. Mr. P, the random number generator, is going. So you folks in the live chat, hold up your ticket numbers. We'll see if he picks you. If he doesn't, don't blame me. If he does, I'll take some reflected glow. How about that? All right. The random number generator is going. Who are you picking, sir? You tell me when to stop. Or should we go into the next segment? Up to you.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, stop.
All right. You got it. I don't recognize this number, so it might be a new person. Let us see. All of our members in the chat just got sad. Let's see. It looks like, oh, this is one of our new members, Quip. Mr. Quip hasn't been a member very long, taking home the November Pro Trading Crate. Wow, you're going to love Dan. You should send all your belated holiday gifts to Mr. Dan here to thank him for your sweet Pro Trading Crate. Mr. Quip, our producers will be in touch to get you your prizes post-haste. A lot of good stuff going out. Sometimes I see these boxes going out, and I get a little hint of the Rock Lobster. I get a little jealous too, Dan. I'm like, why don't we keep that? But, we send it out to these folks, including the trucker hat that is on Dan's head right now. You're getting that too. Screen worn, let's just say, as we keep on rolling into the mail call.
Mail call. Time to look at questions submitted by our listeners.
All right, everybody, welcome to a little post-holiday mailbag. It always fills up when we're not live for a little bit, and so let's clear it out. But Dan, we have to clear the air first. We had a hot, some might say the most contentious topic of the day as our question of the week last week during our shortened holiday trading week. We said, we'll have a little fun, but then it got heated, Dan. And the fun was, quite simply, and this came up as a debate on one of our pro sessions last week, I think it was as well, cranberry sauce, Dan. Is it a holiday side dish? Is it an actual side dish? Or is it really just a glorified topping? I come down the topping side, a lot of back and forth. Our poll went out, Dan, at the end of the week, exactly 50-50. Our audience could not decide. And then we had a bunch of guests on the network so far this week. I put it to all of them to let them be the arbiters. And guess what? They're all split as well. So it comes down to you, Mr. P, the hot topic, dare I say it, the hot side dish or topping of the day. Cranberry sauce, where do you fall, sir? Topping or a side? Are you going to eat a bowl of cranberry sauce, or are you going to put some on your turkey?
I never, ever put it on my turkey. Not a topping for sure. A side dish, yeah. I don't really eat a lot of cranberry sauce. I got to tell you the truth. But, if I'm going to eat it, I consider it is a side dish.
Interesting. All right. So that puts us at, I guess, 50.1% for side dish. So I guess, Dan, you have decided here. Maybe I'll give the Flowmaster a chance tomorrow to see if we can even it out. But yeah, this is a surprisingly contentious issue, listeners. If you missed the chance to vote, at Options is the place to go. You should be following us for deep intellectual battles and topics like this, Mr. Dan. We also, on our last show, Dan, we got to pay off some of that fun as well. On our last show, we had a question of the week going saying it's been a wild year in crypto, metals, and equities, but there can be only one winner. Gun to your head, if you had to buy and hold an at-the-money call, not just through the end of this year, but through the end of next year, through the end of 2026, which asset are you choosing, Dan? We gave them 3 choices along with the infamous other. We have Bitcoin, we have gold, we have the S&P 500. We had write-ins for smaller crypto assets and other indices, and someone wrote in for long-term VIX, which is interesting. So all kinds of stuff. But Dan, what do you think took it in our poll of Bitcoin, gold, to the S&P? You got to hold it through the end of next year.
Well, I think my answer, let's start there, would be gold. As far as what took it, oh, geez, Louise. I think that's probably up there. Could be S&P 500, could be crypto. I'm going to go with gold.
I think you said that when we did the show last time too, and you came close, Dan, but no cigar. Gold's actually number 2 at 36.7%. But what took it was Bitcoin.
Huh?
The folks wanting to scoop some BTC. Right now, that's looking pretty good. Since we posted that poll, Bitcoin is up after being shellacked. We'll see if by the end of next year that's a good trade. Only, interesting enough, Dan, only 13.3% taking the S&P. In previous years, I think the S&P would have run away with this, but this year, interesting. No love for the S&P and a lot more love for gold than we ever would have had in previous years. I think for obvious reasons, gold's on the run of its life. 50% year to date in gold. I mean, that's just wild stuff, Dan. Speaking of wild stuff, let's fast forward to some of our questions of the week from this week. Earlier this week, it was on Monday, I believe, we saw during our Option Block show, a big print going up of the March 85 calls in VIX. Yes, the March 85s, listeners. They went up over 50,000 times for 38 cents. So, Dan, they're not giving those 85s away in March. It's not like you can get them for a nickel. 38 cents. We said at that price, would you rather buy them straight up? Would you rather sell them straight up? Or would you rather buy them or sell them as part of a vertical? Mr. Dan, if you have a preference, have at it. And then B, which way do you think our audience went? They want to buy those bad boys, sell them, or trade them in a vertical?
Sell them.
Sold to you straight up, says Mr. Dan.
Yeah.
That's 33% of our audience agrees with you, but 55.6% give you a big middle finger. They say buy those. They say buy them from you. They want to buy those March 85s for 38 cents. Interesting. Okay. And then 11% want to sell them as part of a vertical. So that makes a little more sense. You buy something cheaper, you sell that. If I had to go somewhere, I probably might go that way. But straight buying them or straight selling them, I don't want to really do either. It's not a strike you want to hang out in for too long out there. But that said, Mr. Dan, let's get out to our actual question of the week right now, which is building on what you and I have been talking about on this show now for a few episodes back to back. I'm not sure if you heard it, Dan, but prediction markets, all the rage. In fact, even since there's been news breaking on this front every week right after we do a show. We did the one a couple of weeks ago, and then, of course, CME and FanDuel announced their listing products, which should go online anytime now. That app's supposed to go out in December. And then since we talked last time, Dan, Robinhood bought one of the exchanges from MIAX, so they're going to list their own, effectively the old LedgerX. It was LedgerX, then it got bought by FTX. We all know what happened there. MIAX bought the scraps of it for pennies on the dollar on the bankruptcy auction, and now they just flipped it to Robinhood. So Robinhood's they had a hub. They were effectively sending affiliate traffic to the other platforms like Kalshi and ForecastEX. Now they're going to keep that in-house, Dan. So stock took a nice pop off that. So all things prediction markets, Dan, are the hot thing. But don't call them binaries. Nobody calls them binaries. That's old school. Those are for scammers. But just this morning, CNN announced a partnership with Kalshi for the prediction markets. They wouldn't say binaries. They don't want to partner with a binary. All right, why would they want to partner with binary options exchange? But a prediction market, those markets have value. They have information value, Dan. But I digress. Let's get out there. Our question of the week right now, Dan. The prediction and binary markets are trending. Yeah, I think literally every day there's new news. Where does a trade end and a bet begin, Dan? This is the hot question in the world of trading right now. We said, should binaries cover all events like, sports, Oscars, etc., like Kalshi does right now? Or should they limit themselves to financial related products? So your SPXs, your CPIs, that sort of thing. We gave our audience 3 choices, Dan. We said you want binaries on everything, so Kalshi style. Or you want, trading related products only. Or, and this is also an acceptable choice, Dan. This makes me nervous. Where are you going, Dan? Which way is our audience going?
Well, I mean, I'm good. I feel like the Rubicon has already been crossed in this industry. The die has been cast. But backing up from that and just looking at a big picture conceptually, I mean, hey, I'm great with binaries on everything, but I prefer separation of church and state, Chinese walls between real like financial products and other stuff. Like, do we really want to be in a situation where, the Options Clearing Corporation is brought down by a Pratt bet on how many field goals are kicked in the Super Bowl?
Or who wore it best on the Oscar red carpet, Dan. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, we're in that world now. The Rubicon has been crossed, as you say, sir. The die has been cast. I should probably reveal the results. I got so distracted by your Oscar red carpet suggestion, Mr. Dan. I should reveal the up-to-the-minute results right now. Right now, Dan, our audience kind of agrees with you, 50% exactly, saying they want to keep it to trading-related products only. And then 37.5% say this makes me nervous. And binaries on everything, 12.5%. That is going right now. At Options is the place to go. Nichols in our chat, he agrees that this makes me nervous. So yeah, there's more than a few of you out there that have expressed that viewpoint. All of these answers are technically viable and understandable. You want to keep it to trading products only. Certainly makes sense if you want to go free whole hog Kalshi style. That makes us, I guess, a certain degree of sense. Or perhaps if you're in the libertarian let them fly wing, and then if it makes you nervous, you want to keep things more traditional. I can understand most of those. Maybe probably the least is the binaries on everything. I don't know about best dressed and all the other kind of stuff that is so easily manipulable, Dan. Did I just coin a phrase there, manipulable?
Yeah.
Easy,
yeah.
prone to manipulation. How about we say that, Mr. Dan?
Yeah. And I mean, I definitely do have like somewhat of a libertarian streak to me. I think people should be able to do what they want, and business should be able to do whatever they want. The shareholders can decide that, but I don't know. It seems like in the financial world, we keep oscillating back and forth throughout much of history between, hey, you know what? Like, we should loosen up the laws, just really liberalize everything, just be a lot more libertarian with hands off, that whole thing. And then there's a financial crisis, and it's like, no, we need more regulations. What the heck were these guys? Look at what these terrible bankers are doing. And then, people forget about that. And then it's, oh no, we need less regulations. And then it just breathes back and forth, back and forth.
It is a bit cyclical. By the way, Merriam-Webster has my back, Dan. Manipulable, definitely a word. I did not, even though it is a cool phrase, I didn't just coin it. It is a real word, Mr. Dan. All right, let's get out to, unless you got a burning question of the week, Mr. Dan, burning a hole in your pocket.
Oh gosh. I don't have one this week. I don't have.
We'll keep rolling to the folks. I like this handle anyway. This is better than yours, unless your middle name is Nicola or Machiavelli. This handle is Free Range Turtles, Dan. I've heard of free range chicken and other things. Free range turtles, I'm not as familiar with. Maybe do you use them for turtle soup? Is that what you do? In which case, put a little bit of sherry in there. I'm not a sherry guy. In turtle soup, sherry is delicious. I'm just putting that out there. All right, I digress. Free range turtles. He's probably offended right now. He's probably like a turtle wildlife conservationist, and I'm talking about eating them. But Free range turtles once wrote in to say, hello, Mark and Dan. Been enjoying the show for years. Well, right back at you. And I also enjoy your turtles on occasion. Your last show about AI inspired me to do my own test. I asked Google Gemini to, quote, give me a listener question for a podcast about options education. I have to say, I was actually a little bit impressed. So I thought I'd share it with you. Keep up the education and the fun. Oh, you guys are my fave options duo. So Dan, we are the dynamic duo of options trading. Clearly, I am Batman in that scenario. So you would clearly be the boy wonder, Mr. Robin. I think, I can see you in the green and a little yellow. I think that's a good look for you. You're wearing green right now. I'm wearing the dark colors, so it's appropriate.
I was thinking you'd be more like Catwoman, but
I do look sultry in a skin-tight leotard. Let me just tell you. And a whip. Yeah, I can go to town on a whip too. But I think for now I'm more of the Batman type out there. Let's see what Gemini came up for us, Mr. Dan. So he wrote in that question, and Gemini responded with, here are a few Here are a few options for a listener question based on the quote experience level of the hypothetical listener. Oh. And the first one they gave him, which is the one he sent in, it says option 1, the Ivy crush question. Oh. And they term this as a beginner question, Dan, which is interesting. It says best for episodes explaining implied volatility, earnings plays, or how options pricing works. So the AI is even giving episode recommendations to go along with it. And what the question is hi, love the show. So the AI is already kissing up. I like that. It says, I have a question about a trade I recently made. I bought a call option on a popular tech stock right before their earnings announcement. The company beat expectations and the stock actually went up about 3% the next morning. But when I checked my account, my option had lost, and it put in bold, lost value. I thought if the stock goes up, the call goes up. Can you explain why I lost money even though I was right about the direction? And then it says why this is a good question. Because it sets up the host perfectly to explain the concept of implied volatility crush and why buying premium before binary events is risky. Well, this is I will agree with those free range turtles. I will agree with them. That's not a bad in totality suggestion from the AI. They set it up. They give a reason why you might want to ask it, what the host might want to say about it. It gives the right terms and definitions. And quite frankly, Dan, this was a question we used to get a lot. We don't really get it as much anymore. I think that speaks to the sophistication of the audience from back in, 2013, the Primordial Ooze days when we started this show. So interesting. Dan, what do you think about, I think you said this was Gemini's suggestion for an IV crush question?
Yeah, I think Free Turtle Soup, thanks for setting us up with some really good stuff to make us look smart. I think we should have kept that little Oz behind the curtain there, that it's going to make us look smart.
We should have masqueraded as this was totally our own idea.
Yeah.
Dan, I think we should have an episode coming up on the IV crush. What do you think?
That's not a bad idea, Mark. I don't know if we actually dedicate. I know we've talked about it before, but I don't know if we had an episode on it, which we could do.
I don't think we have, actually, now that I think about it. We have touched on it many times.
Yeah.
And maybe also why buying premium before binary events is risky. Again, there's that word, Dan. We don't say that word anymore. The AI hasn't learned yet. Binary, a bad word. It's a prediction event. We're predicting what's going to happen with earnings. It's way more palatable. You can buy ads for a prediction market. You cannot buy ads for a buy. Go try to buy an ad for a binary option market.
Oh, goodness.
We're treading in some dangerous areas, sir. So let's keep rolling. Great submission and great handle. Free range turtles. I like that. I want some turtle soup. I haven't had it in a long time, Dan, but I kind of want some now. All right. The best one, Quarter Two Sisters in New Orleans. I'm just putting a plug out there. All right. I digress. Big Sid's up next. Big Sid says, this question is for the Options Bootcamp program. He puts, I was about to say you sent it to the right place, but he puts in parentheses, hope I sent it to the right place as you have a lot of shows. Yes, we do. And yes, you did. So well done, Big Sid. You passed the first test. Mark and Dan, do you think the heyday of premium selling in zero-day options is over? It seemed like all of the early flow was in credit spreads, verticals, flies, etc., but have these extreme moves again potentially put an end to that? Also, have the premiums come down to the point where they are no longer as attractive? This is an interesting subject. Your buddy the Meatball, when he pops on VolViews for the last few months, has been kind of beating this drum of late. And it's something we've been kind of noticing anecdotally recently as well. It's something maybe analogous to what we used to talk about with the weekend effect for options before the dailies became huge, where people would pound the hell out of options on a Friday afternoon heading into a weekend, especially a long weekend, to the point where at the end of the day, it made more sense to buy those options than to sell them because you were getting a free weekend. There is some question about whether that is going on now in the dailies, because he's right. So much of the early use case has been selling the hell out of these things, all sort of mitigated risk strategies, iron flies, strangles, that sort of thing. And now we have these funds out there that are doing this systematically day in, day out. So it does make you kind of wonder. I have looked at we were just talking about zero-day premiums for an at-the-money put in SPY yesterday on our Pro Q&A, actually. And someone brought up, I forgot the name of our Pro member, brought up, you could sell the at-the-money put in SPY. Now, it was around noon So you had half of the day left. So the clock was ticking. But it was the at-the-money put in SPY, and even at the reduced premium level in SPY, a one lot's going to tie up 68,000 in margin, right? For a one lot on SPY at 681, I think it was at the time. And he's like, I'm going to get $60 for that. He's like, why the hell? I could tie up a lot less capital to make a lot more premium and on a much cheaper underlying than SPY, you know? So I do kind of wonder if there is something to that. I need to kind of go through and kind of crunch. And certainly the last couple of weeks have added more fuel to the fire, Dan, where we've started getting back into a little bit of whipsaw territory again, where all of a sudden the S&P is moving 25, 50 points at a clip and then coming back the other way and then doing it again. On those types of days, yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense to sell premium. So I do kind of wonder this, Dan. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on here. I mean, I think that overall, just super high level theory that the risk premium that has existed over time is a sort of a natural thing that exists in human brains in the long run. But, you know, just like I was talking about the ebb and flow of regulation and such, I think you kind of get the same thing here. I think there are times when you get all these vol sellers who sell the crap out of it. I mean, Volmageddon was that, right? Volatilities were underpriced for a while until we had one of these extreme moves and just a big, humongous disaster. And then all of a sudden, nope, vol's not underpriced anymore because they learned that trick. You can't do that. And so we give people that warm, fuzzy feeling again of having the risk premium there. Sure, I'll pay up a little bit extra for insurance because I know that's how insurance works. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say if the heyday is over, and I honestly don't know the answer to that really, because it's hard to measure. It's really hard to extrapolate a one-day volatility and do a good job measuring all that. I mean, I know the math behind it, but to be really accurate and confident in that accuracy, I don't know about. So maybe in the short term, sure, the heyday's over, but I think in the long run, over the next 10 years, we're still going to see a risk premium even in the zero DTEs.
Definitely a more crowded trade than it was when it first came out. Again, it kind of reminds me of that weekend trade until that became a known thing. Then that kind of went away. We used to see that with long-term puts on products like VXX. That was a great trade. Then it became kind of crowded. So we have seen some of these trades get kind of crowded. I think you could definitely argue this trade has become crowded. Whether it's squeezed to death yet, I don't know. Some of these days when we're whipsawing 100 handles, you definitely think it's been squeezed to death. It's definitely too cheap on those days. Then, Dan, we had a Fed day, our last Fed day, I believe. And the S&P ended up closing off, I think, 0.001%. It was the least. We had to go triple decimal points. There was the least net movement. Now, intraday, it swung quite a bit, and you could have done all right if you had a straddle or something. But if you just sold premium and rode it to the close, you still made all your money, which is wild. So it's a weird time, Dan. Both sides can be right, apparently, in these markets, which is interesting. All right, let's go here to Macro Cross. Macro Cross wants to know, will there ever be an option on a binary option paying off? Let me read that again. It just threw me for a loop. Will there ever be an option on a binary option paying off? Effectively a second order derivative of a binary option. You can bet whether a binary contract will pay out. Not sure why we'd need that, but the idea somehow intrigues me. I love this guy, Macro. That just tickles my funny bone, Dan. The notion of you're coming on to Kalshi. You don't want to buy will the S&P close above a level binary, but you'll buy the binary on will that binary pay out? Yeah, sure. Let's do that, Dan. Second order binaries. Are you down for that, sir?
Interesting concept. I think, one thing I think it would require a lot more volume still in the not binaries, prediction contracts.
These can either be the predictions of the prediction. Do you predict that their prediction will come true? There you go. Super prediction. Who doesn't want that data?
Right. Yeah, I think you'd need a lot more volume to support that liquidity for all those derivatives of funny events like red carpet.
Yeah, just absolutely wild stuff. I love that. I love the idea of it. Second order binaries, Dan, just tickles my funny bone quite a bit. And now we already see the regular binary / prediction markets get kind of wonky towards the end when they're hanging out around at the money. Can you imagine how wonky the prediction of the predictions will be at the close when you're flipping 0 to 100, 0 to 100, and there comes the prediction. It's flipping all over the place. So if you want a little more insane up to the bell vol in your life, then maybe these are the contracts for you. We got Frank in our chat saying, I hate the event contracts. They seem like they will be able to manipulate things too much. That is the concern. Even the NFL has come out and said they don't want prop bets on these exchanges because those are way too easy to manipulate out there. And that's where we're seeing all the problems. These pitchers who are making tens of millions of dollars, Dan, throwing a pitch in the dirt to make 6,000 on a prop bet, or 60,000, whatever it is. It's absurd. That's the market. That's the world we're living in now. Now a poor trainer who's got to tape ankles for a team is probably going to be subject to insider trading laws. Right? He saw LeBron's ankle. He had to tape LeBron's ankle. Then he went out and he bought the under that night on the game. Oh, he's going to jail. Send that guy away. So yeah, we're setting us up for some weird areas going forward. The Queen says, I feel like some of the binaries are just gambling. Yeah, a lot of them are, especially when you get into some of the more esoteric stuff. Other people think that's a weird idea, predicting predictions. Yeah, it is a weird idea, but also a fun one. That's why we do the show, for fun things like that. All right, Dan, speaking of fun, we'll get out of here with a little bit of fun this week. This comes from the not creatively named CCDX1. Say that 5 times fast. They want to know, just wanted to thank you for triggering my memories of the old Head Street. I ended up going down a rabbit hole on Google researching the exchange and the early days of binaries. I have to admit, I'm more than a little jealous of Dan's iPod. I told you, Dan. I told you there would be a collector's market for that. I think that was your ulterior motive. You wanted to bring that up. Now, if you want to go to Dan Niccolo Passarelli Machiavelli's eBay page, oh, surprise, surprise, there's an iPod Shuffle from Head Street listed there. Was that your evil plan all along, sir?
No, I'm going to list an event contract on it.
I will now have to predict whether that prediction will come true about whether you will sell your iPod Shuffle. Will Dan sell his iPod Shuffle for over $200? Yes or no? Get your bets and your predictions in right now. Here's a consenting opinion in our chat. Not when it comes, some of the binaries are just gambling. Then Mr. Limit says, not when it comes to sports. I feel like that's a solid investment. Oh, he's joking. Solid investment fundamentals. He put a smiley face after. I thought he was serious at first. I was like, ooh, that's like dissenting, I should say, opinion out there. But there we go, Mr. Dan. Wow, we had a lot of fun. We gave away prizes today. People tried to manipulate you in the true Chicago election style fashion. We talked binaries, or should I say prediction markets. We talked AI implied vol crushes. We talked Bitcoin and gold. We talked the question of the day, which is cranberry sauce, side dish or topping. We got into all kinds of, we talked binaries on binaries, Dan. We got wild today. Did you have a good time?
We talked turtle soup, too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We talked turtle soup. I will say, and they put it in front of me. They said, sir, try the sherry. I was like, I hate sherry. Then I put it in I tried the soup. I was like, this soup is not that great. I put the sherry in it, and I was like, oh, my God. Transformative experience. And that's probably the only time I will ever say that about turtle soup or sherry. Independently, they are binary products. By themselves, terrible. Mix them together, now you got something. I'm just saying. It all comes back to binaries, Dan, at the end of the day.
Synergy.
And if people want to take your forthcoming masterclass on predictions, sir, where should they go? What should they do?
Yeah, of course. You know where to find me. Markettaker.com, 2 T's in a row. And love to hear from you. Come join. We got complimentary classes. Attend some of our online trainings for free. Come on over. The water's fine.
And while you're checking things out online, make sure you check out our friends over there at Tasty Trade, tastytrade.com. optionsinsider.com/podcast to learn more. See what deals they have exclusively for you folks over there in the Options Bootcamp audience. You know they love you. They've been on the show multiple times. The OBC audience is a broker's dream. See what they got for you. tastytrade.com/podcast. You know, we got more in store for you. So if you're hanging out in the live, if you have more thoughts about binaries or others, keep them coming. We'll be back in a little bit with our good buddy, Miss Carly Garner. Maybe I'll give her a chance to weigh in on the ultimate question of our day, see if she can balance. She'll probably go the other way, and we'll be back to 50-50 on the freaking cranberry sauce again. There will be no ultimate answer. So maybe I should just cut it off now, listeners. But we'll get to Carly, her thoughts on all things futures in a few minutes. We'll wind up the day after the closing bell with the newest addition to the network, the Hot Options Report. If you want a bite-sized taste of what was lighting up the options market every day, Thor, a.k.a. the Hot Options Report, is for you. Yet another reason why you should be subscribed to the network. Then, of course, back again with all of our usual array of content throughout the rest of the week, including the Flowmaster tomorrow on the option block, futures options with our friends over there at CME, Vol Views with Dr. Vix on Friday, all sorts of fun. Make sure you subscribe to the full network. Then we'll see you back here next week. Another episode of Options Bootcamp. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.